I'm Josh Hirahara with Gage, and we've created an online auction for dealers to purchase vehicles directly from consumers. So most people hate the process of selling a vehicle, so I'll explain how we make that experience better with a real customer. This is Hadley, who sold us her Mazda CX-5 a few weeks ago. And when Hadley decided to sell her Mazda, she got an offer for $12,900 from a local dealer she wasn't very happy with. So she listed on Facebook Marketplace for the Kelley Blue Book value and received some interest, but most of the people who reached out to her never actually came to look at the car, and the ones who did offered even less than the dealer. Then she hears about Gage. Hadley can submit her vehicle using our app, or we could take a look at her vehicle in person and do this for her, which is what she chose. And now let me introduce you to one of our dealer buyers, Brett. Brett's the used car manager at Ken Garff Nissan, and he spends almost 100% of his time looking for vehicles to purchase for his dealership to sell. And he can't find enough SUVs right now through his current channels to put in his inventory. So he logs into StockUp, which is our dealer auction portal where we take all that information on Hadley's Mazda and convert it into the same detailed condition report format he's used to seeing at auction. So after some back and forth, he wins the Mazda with a bid of $14,200 plus our auction fees. And let me show you how this breaks down. Brett pays $14,630, which is what these would be going for at auction. We take our $350 buy fee and $80 to transport the vehicle to his lot, and Hadley receives $14,200. This is $1,300 higher than her other dealer offer and higher than any offer she received privately because we allow Hadley to sell her vehicle the same way a dealer sells vehicles they're not retailing, by making all the buyers compete at auction. And best of all, we didn't make her commit to anything up front. We just launched our pilot location in Salt Lake City at the beginning of September and have already done over $1 million in GMV and over $27,000 in net revenue and are on pace to more than double this month. But probably more importantly, sellers love our process. One said it was literally the easiest private party car sale of our lives, and dealers love it too. Brett even said, "I'd buy all my used cars from StockUp if I could." We scale by taking a market-by-market approach, first targeting the classified listings in an area before turning to paid and traditional channels. We could purchase 20% of the used vehicles sold in any given market, which is 6 times the largest player right now, because of our boots-on-the-ground auction approach. We'll expand to 8 additional markets in 2021 and reach a $10 million annual net revenue run rate by January of 2022. And to get to $100 billion in GMV, we need to be in about 200 markets, which would be about $2.5 billion in net transaction revenue. And that doesn't actually include any additional buyer or seller services that are on our roadmap, like financing, which could easily quadruple our net revenue and profit on the same amount of GMV. I got into this through flipping cars and motorcycles through college, and then I founded and scaled a previous business to be buying over $80 million worth of vehicles per year. And Anna's managed product rollouts to over 2,000 dealers at a time while driving sales. And we're developing the perfect team to take over this massive, extremely fragmented, mostly offline market. I'm Josh Hirahara with Gage, and we created an online auction for dealers to purchase vehicles directly from consumers. Looking forward to the questions.
All right, great job, Josh. Okay, we're up to Ryan Hoover. Question for Josh.
Good to reconnect, Josh. Yeah, so I'm curious to know maybe more about the risks that you see in the business and kind of how are you de-risking some of those variables or those challenges.
All right, thank you. Andrea, question for Josh.
No question, other than just a comment. I was an investor in Shift Technologies, which is also in the used or pre-owned car marketplace. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a crowded marketplace. So I guess that would be my question. How do you compete with all these other solutions out there?
All right, great. Oh, Ben, looks like you have a question. You want to jump in there?
Sure. It actually riffs a little bit off of Andrea. You know, Cox Manheim is sort of the dominant player here, virtually a monopoly. So one, how do you really take share away from them? And two, from an outcome standpoint, if you don't take the company public, aren't they pretty much almost the only buyer? They're like a tiny number of buyers here to take you out. So how do you think about exit?
All right, thanks. Andrew, question for Josh.
Andrew Lee, right? Yes. Okay.
Right.
Hey, Josh. One of the big questions for usually this market is financing. I'm wondering how you're thinking about that in relation to whether that's going to be some depth in the product. Is that a future iteration, or is that something you're initially thinking about?
All right, great. And let's take a couple from Syndicate. Daniel's asking, are you targeting end of lease buybacks as well, or just straight sales? Ananda's asking, how are you marketing the platform to consumers on one side and dealers on the other? May have some duplicates there, and you have 2 minutes, Josh.
All right, sounds great. So I'll start with Ryan's question. Good to see you again, Ryan. the ways we're de-risking the business is, first off, we don't hold inventory. So we don't take any risk on the car where it's literally a pass through in kind of our auction format. Even our locations themselves are very low overhead as well. So we get to kind of cash flow positive at a location pretty quickly. And then we do, really detailed inspections on the car, both to, protect the consumer and the dealer that's buying the car. And in terms of kind of the space in general, there's some overlap there, I think, with kind of the Cox Manheim question, as well as it's a crowded space. There's a lot of players because it's a massive market, but even the largest player in the used car space has less than 3% market share. So it's very fragmented. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the space because of that. In terms of an exit, this is, our plan is to go public. We view this as being a big brand of the consumer that, first, our target is to make selling a vehicle as easy as possible. And we do start to branch into other things like financing, because if someone's selling a car, they're likely to be buying their next one. And so whether they want to, finance a purchase through us or, get pre-approval on financing before going and purchasing their car, I think there's a lot of areas we can add transparency and kind of advocate for the customer in those scenarios. And in terms of what type of transactions we handle, we do lease buybacks as well. One of the nice things is we do have a dealer license, so we can handle all the paperwork and make it easier, not only for the consumer, but also for the dealer who's purchasing the car as well. So that's one of our big value adds to both sides of the market. And in terms of marketing on both sides, we do direct outreach to customers who are selling their vehicles as we get started in a market. And then we start to see the inbound flywheel pick up because we are concentrated on small geographic areas. Even just the other day, we actually had someone who we looked at their vehicle, and then their dad was selling a car a month later, and he ended up selling his car to us. And then on the dealer side, we reach out via email, phone. A lot of these guys are old school, so sometimes the easiest thing to do is just walk in the dealership and go talk to the used car manager. But happy to answer any other questions in the chat.